You're watching HFO-TV.
Welcome back to HFO-TV. I'm Aaron Kirk Douglas, Marketing Director at HFO. Here with me today is Andy Hahs, shareholder of Bittner and Hahs in Lake Oswego. Andy, you wrote an article recently about the possibility of LLC members facing liability for on-the-job injuries. And I was wondering, because a lot of apartments are held by LLCs, could we get some more information about that from you?
Yeah, there was a case, the Oregon Supreme Court ruled back in 2012 that the exemption for employers being exempt from claims by their employees, being limited to workers' comp, did not apply to members of an LLC because of the way the statute was written. It applied, the exclusive remedy applied to officers, directors, and employees of corporations. And so all of a sudden we had this big hole in the law, and people were really concerned about that. Some of them, our clients, actually converted from LLCs to corporations. But luckily the legislature this year fixed that hole. They plugged it as of the middle of June of this year. And so now the exclusive exception applies to members, partners, basically any type of a person that owns a business entity. So if there's one of their employees is hurt and gets workers' comp benefits, then they are not subject to suit, with some very narrow exceptions. I mean, if there's an intentional hurting of somebody, that's accepted. And then there's also another one that was put in where if the acts of the employer are negligent outside the scope of employment. So like if you were driving home and happened to hit one of your employees with your car, that wouldn't be covered by the workers' comp.
Okay. And what about independent contractors and the use of independent contractors? Are LLCs or corporations ever liable in any way for the use of independent contractors?
Yeah, they're just like anybody else. The workers' comp doesn't apply to the independent contractor as far, I mean, the employee of the independent contractor may have a workers' comp claim against their own employer, but they do have the right to sue other parties that may be liable. So if they claim that the owner of the apartment did something like dropped a hammer on their head while they were sweeping up or something, they could go after the owner of the apartment. We always suggest that multifamily owners put their properties into an entity, usually an LLC, because that's the best entity for owning real property, and that will shield the owner's other assets. It may not shield the LLC itself and the asset that's in the LLC, but you have insurance on that, and that tends to give you more protection.
Okay. What's the history of Oregon workers' comp as a remedy for injuries, and have there been any changes to that recently?
Well, like I said, the big change was the finding by the Oregon Supreme Court that the exclusive remedy didn't apply to members of LLCs. The workers' comp statutes go back years and years and years, and it's been really, the whole idea is that it's a no-fault system. So when an employee gets hurt, they don't have to prove that anybody was negligent. They just have to prove that they were hurt on the job, and it's supposed to be more effective and efficient and less costly than having to sue everybody because you were hurt. And so that's the idea, but the trade-off of the no fault is the exclusive remedy.
Okay. And as a final wrap-up question, are there any other liability issues you know of that have come up recently with regard to LLCs?
Nothing new. It's just everything, you've got a target on your back if you're an owner of property. That's the problem. And so I always suggest get good insurance.
Okay.
Look at the risks that are not easily insurable, like fair housing and mold, and do your best on your procedures to make sure that you're not violating those things.
Okay. Well, thanks, Andy. Thanks for being here, and thanks for joining us for another edition of HFO-TV. We'll see you next time.
Thanks for watching HFO-TV. To learn more about HFO, call or visit our website. See new listings, apartment news, videos, and more when you download our apps at the Android and iPhone markets.